The players came to us on Monday after our walkthrough and stuff and, brought it up in discussion.
I know Hank brought it up and they came to me, and then a couple of those aligned with us, then we took it to Koetter-Avalos. So it's kind of a collective type of thing.
They wanted him on the field. They believe in him. They want him down there in the middle of it, in the fight with them. And
at the end of the day, we just decided to try it out.
He's got the answers. He understands. And I thought it was awesome that the players felt the same way.
We were able to correct things a lot faster than, what it has been.
Tim, can you kind of explain the decision that took you out of the booth and down to the sideline to call the game? And it sounds like the players were very influential in making that happen.
I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday, Jay, but Koetter-Avalos, he meets with the leadership group every week and they talk about a lot of things that are going on with the program. And I think that, he just asked, everyone kind of, hey, what are the thoughts going forward? What are some things we can improve? And at that moment, I think a lot of the offensive guys just brought up that they really wanted me to come on the field for various reasons. And so he came into my office shortly after that and said, hey, I got really good news. The players really care about you. And they said they love you and they want you to be on the field with them. So we're going to make that switch. And like I told the guys after the game, it was a meaningful moment for me, just being a new guy in town, trying to earn the trust of the players. Hearing that last week definitely gave me a boost of energy and wanting to be down there with those guys. So it was a cool moment for me for sure.
Do you like calling a game from the sideline? And did you have, a different set of eyes in the skies relaying, whatever you wanted to see from above to you? It's obviously, different than calling the game from above.
Yeah, I've always called the game from the field. So for the last 10 years, I've always been calling the game from the field. I was always on the field so I could communicate with the quarterback and I could communicate with the offense. But when we got here, we had a lot more help, and we had talked as a staff and made the decision for me to go up in the booth. I think when you're up in the booth, you obviously can see everything a lot easier, but you lose just the energy and the vibe of the team. And sometimes when you're on the sideline, you got a better feel for how guys are feeling, where their confidence level's at. I can have direct communication with everybody in the offense. And we're all learning the offense still together, right? Players and some of the assistants. So I think some of the arguments from the players was just, I obviously know the offense, and I can make those adjustments quickly and get that communicated to them, one-on-one. And I think that was something that they really felt like would help.
Hey, we're still asking you to weigh in on Boise State's throwback homecoming uniforms, especially the throwback helmet. And again, 88% of you saying these things are absolutely awesome. Danny Allsup, our producer, one of the few in the no column. Sorry to sell you out, Danny. I'm so sorry, but we asked who possibly could be against these things. We did find one human.
We did find one. We did confirm
She's
that.
gonna kill me.
I was just gonna say that. Danny, we love you.
Yeah.
You know that.
Hey, from evolving uniforms to evolving offenses, getting back to what Tim Plough was talking about, I really do think that there was a significance in him moving down to the sideline. Yeah. So often early on in fall camp, we heard about them working on communication, and it's so often that is something that can come off as coach speak, but I think there is some validity to that in streamlining this process as he installs his new offense.
Felt like on the field last Saturday in Logan, that switch coming from the booth down to the field gave this offense a little bit of juice, a little bit of energy and momentum, and they fed off that. That evolution showed up last week in the win against Utah State in regards to trying to establish that run game. Boise State had 9 different ball carriers with a carry last week. You saw multiple wide receivers get in on the action. You had C.T. Thomas, Khalil Shakir each getting carries, whether it be from the Wildcat or jet sweeps. Trying to be creative, utilizing that Wildcat formation with George Holani at times. Get it and go type of stuff. You even saw Hank Bachmeier take off a time or two. He was the Broncos' second leading rusher with 44 yards. Good option to keep the defense honest instead of keying on the running back at all times in the RPO offense.
Yeah. Hey, you brought up C.T. Thomas. We can now stop shouting from the top of Table Rock to get this man some touches.
Come on down to the party. The senior wideout with over 100 career catches and 1,000 receiving yards entering this year only had 2 catches for 16 total yards to show for 3 games into the season. But that changed last week as Boise State got CT involved through the air and carrying the football. Finished with the season-high 3 catches for 35 yards and 3 carries for 25 yards in last week's win against Utah State.
Yeah, it was great to get him going. I know that obviously he's had a great career here And for whatever reason, again, not by design, things just hadn't gotten to him. We had dropped a couple balls, but thought we did a good job getting him involved, and we want to get him involved as much as we can. So I was happy to see him get some touches and some big plays and got him on the sweeps, and that I know he's returning kicks again. So I think, again, everyone's kind of starting to get more rhythm in what we're doing offensively, and that's beautiful football. If we can get everybody involved and everyone feels a part of it, super, super important. So hopefully we can give him the ball even more. That's the hope, Will.
Beautiful football. I kind of like that saying.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of pass catchers, the last time the Broncos were in Boise, Portland State transfer Davis Koetter recorded his first catch as a Bronco, and then moments later this happened. He recorded his first touchdown ever on the Blue as a member of Boise State, I should say. He did have one at Portland State. For Koetter, his story seems like it was woven into Boise State's blueprint long ago.
Bronco Roundup Game Day, Power Players, sponsored by Sparklight, a stronger connection.
Outside this cathedral of consistency, the perennial success of the Boise State football program often raises the question, how do they do it? Over the last 2 decades, players have left and coaches have changed. But if you look between all the turnover, you will notice a few full circle moments that connect it all. Prior to the 1998 campaign, an Idahoan named Dirk Koetter was appointed the head coach at Boise State. He immediately led the program to its first winning season at the FBS level, and the city of Boise has never experienced a sub-500 fall on the football field ever since.
One of 6 teams in America to win 10 games in each of the last 2 seasons.
The Pac-10 back then came calling for Koetter, but before his departure, he created a blueprint that the program could follow. One of Koetter's final phone calls before taking off for Tempe was to a kid in Corona, California. He thought would make a great linebacker at Boise State. 23 years after that call took place,
It's a humbling opportunity to be able to come back home.
Andy Avalos, that lightly recruited linebacker, found himself in Koetter's shoes. Fittingly, one of the first phone calls that Andy made was to Koetter, but not Dirk. It was to his youngest son, Davis.
His father's who recruited me and gave me my opportunity to come here, and so it was a no-brainer.
Born in 1998, Davis Koetter immediately fell in love with everything Boise State stood for and fought for.
How are you not a fan of the underdog? Boise State is the ultimate underdog.
It helped spark his noticeable passion for the game, and eventually he committed to play in college at Portland State, one of just 2 programs that willingly offered him a scholarship.
I was pretty set on accepting a scholarship and going to a smaller school and playing.
Following 3 seasons of development with the Vikings, Davis felt it was time to test himself at a higher level.
I actually was planning on going to University of Missouri.
But then another coaching change took place in Boise.
Koetter-Avalos got the job and shot me a call.
And a dream opportunity he realized was beginning to materialize.
Felt like I couldn't pass up the opportunity to come be a Bronco.
2 weeks ago, Davis got to experience his first big game as a player on the Blue.
To have people that love you in the stands and support you, it's special for sure.
Early in the first quarter, with his father turned fan sitting in the stands, a moment that encompasses this cyclical success.
I had a really good feeling the ball was coming my way.
Played out in front of a near-capacity crowd at Albertson Stadium.
Catching my first touchdown on the Blue will definitely be one that'll be in that list. But when 36,000 people are going crazy, it's hard to focus on that. You kind of black out for a second.
I got to admit, I'm pretty stoic, but I teared up a little at that moment.
How has Boise State sustained their winning ways for 20-plus years, you ask? With good people, great connections, and one heck of a blueprint, connecting the past, the present, and likely the future.